lead the way. Thank you.
I'm trying. Okay. So now we're in the new parasha of this week is Parashat Vayishlach. Vayishlach means to send. And we're talking today about the connection between Yaakov and Esav, his brother. We know that Yaakov was Ishtam Yoshev Ohalim. He was a righteous man, and Esav was not so righteous. But they were brothers. They grew together in the same house with the same beautiful father and mother, and everyone chose his way. Now Yaakov, according to the Zohar, to the inner part of the Torah, Esav had very, very high powers, but he used it when it come down to this world. He could not really stay in the right moral. How you say? He was not. He was a bad guy, and Yaakov, his brother, tried to come to him and to say, "Listen, let's be friends. Let's work together." And this is what it's written in Vayishlach Yaakov Malachim Lefanav El Esav Achiv Arza Seir Sde Edom. He's sending angels. He had the power. Yaakov had the power to order angels to go. They were dressed like human beings, like we learned about Avraham Avinu, that the angels came to him to tell him that in a year he's going to have a son, and they were dressed like simple people, like merchants. So he took these. He had he had such a good connection with Hashem that he can really order the angels to go and to try to soften the meeting between him and his brother. And it's written what the way was. He sent him presents. He took 3 ways. 1 is presents, 2 is praying, and the third one, he was preparing himself for war, to defend himself. It's a very interesting way to see things, that you actually, when you have a problem, you're using 3 ways. 1 is sometimes present can help, and praying, and the third option is to be prepared if someone wants to Chas v'Shalom, to hurt you, so you have to protect yourself. And this is what Yaakov really did. Now, if we look, in this point, Yaakov is saying to Esav, he says, Ko amar avdecha Yaakov im Lavan garti, va'echar adata, va'ilishor v'chamor, tzon ve'eved v'shivcha, v'shelecha lagid ladonim tzochen be'enecha. I'll translate it. He come to Yaakov and he say, Yaakov sent to Esav and he tells him like this: Listen, my brother, I lived with Lavan. Lavan was a very problematic guy. And I lived with him for 20 years. Im Lavan garti. The word garti, it has here three meanings. Garti, that means I lived with Lavan. The second commentary is garti, it means I was like ger. It's like someone that lives in a place that it's not his place. He comes for, yes, he's for example, he's from Israel now. He has a work in England, so he's going there for a year or two. Ger, it's someone that's not really belong to the place. In Lavan garti, that means I lived with him for 20 years, but I'm not one of his friends. I'm not. He didn't influence my mentality. He didn't influence my life, the way I think, the way I talk, the way I walk. He didn't change me. And another translation is garti. It's the same letters. Garti and Taryag, the gematria. If you calculate the letters, it's exactly 613. This is the number of the mitzvahs, the commandments we have in the Torah. It says, Im Lavan garti, that means I lived with this evil person for many years, but I kept all the mitzvahs. And the thing he wanted to say to Esav is, beware. Hashem is with me, and don't try to hurt me, not me and not my family. The Hasidic translation of the word garti, what does Yaakov's what does he say to Esav? He tells him, listen, I want to tell you that all the physical things I have a house, I have work, I have cattle, I have donkeys and camels. Yes, I'm very rich. But all these things are like, in Yiddish you say, fremde Sach. It's something that is not connected to me. It's mine, but it's something that it's like something how you say something that is not permanent? How you say it's something
temporary.
Temporary. That's the word exactly. All the physical things I have around me are temporary. The permanent thing is my spiritual situation. The spiritual things I'm doing, and this is something. It's a message. I think that's a very important message for us. Is to understand that even people. I told today a story. There was a director. I think you say a director in Israel. He made many film. His name was Yehuda Barkan. Maybe you heard about him. He was an actor, and at the end of his life, he became religious. And one of the stories, he said that he was very rich. He did a lot of money in his career, and then he invested millions in a movie. He made a movie, and this movie had no success at all. And he lost all his money. And at the end of his life, he rented an apartment and he lived with his wife in this apartment. He was a happy guy. He passed away a few months ago. But many Israelis know his name and saw his movies and the point I wanted to say is that actually Nishmato began Eden, Bezat Hashem. But what I want to say is that nothing is permanent in the physical world. But in the spiritual work, your spiritual work can be permanent. And that's what Yaakov wanted to say to Esav. My spiritual world is very stable. This is nothing, this is a thing that you cannot take from me. And I think that for us, that means that actually we need to think about our spiritual world and to try to build it in such a way that nothing, no wind will be able to move our standards. If a person decides that he say every day, he decides that he's praying to Hashem, he's saying psalms, or another word decide that he's making something he decided to do. And it's very hard to be stable, to do it every day and to continue with this. But we have to know that we actually, by doing it, we're building our spiritual world. Okay, this is actually the second point. About the Zohar of this week, I want to try to start to read the first sentence of the Zohar of this Parsha. It's very beautiful Zohar, things that we can understand and to take to our life. And I want to read the first part. The Zohar says like this: Vayishlach Yaakov malachim. Rabbi Yehuda patach ki malachav יצווה לשמרך בכל דרכיך. היקראו כמו חבריה, דה בשעתא דברנש עתי לעלמה, מיד הזדמן בידי יצר הרע. I'll translate in few minutes. דהוא מקדרג לי לברנש תדיר, כמה דעת אמר, לפתח חטאת רובץ, מהי חטאת רובץ, דה יצר הרע, ודוד הכינה מקרי חטאת דכתיב וחטאתי נגדי תמיד. וגיד דיו אביד לי לברנש, כל יום על המחתק הממרי, ויצר עדה לא יתעדי מברנש, מיום הדיטלית ברנש לעלמין. The translation from Aramaic is like this. Yaakov is sending angels. And then Rabbi Yehuda comes and says, listen, there are angels around us. Hashem, God, is giving every Jew, everywhere in the world, angels to keep him. To keep him from all kinds of bad things that happens in the world. And then he says that actually an angel, you have a good angel and a bad angel, like in the stories, like in the movies, yes? You have a good one and a bad one. And the Zohar explains, in the minute that we were born, we come to the world, come the bad angel. This is called Yetzer Hara. And he's all the time trying to convince the person to do bad things. And that's what's written in Bereshit, Lapetach Chatat Rovetz. It's all the time he's waiting like a lion and trying to convince us to do bad things. And that's what said David HaMelech, Bechatati negdi tamid. This opportunity to make something not good is always like a shadow that's with me all the time. And every day he's tried to convince the person to do bad things. And this Yetzer Hara, this bad, he has a name in English, I don't remember the name. It's Yetzer Hara. Maybe Avraham will remember the name?
Yetzer Hara, evil inclination.
Evil?
Evil inclination.
Inclination, that's the name. Yes, exactly. But now a very interesting thing that we said that Yetzer Hara, the evil, whatever his name, he come to us in the minute we were born. But Malachav, that means two angels, the good one, when he comes when we are, for women, when the woman is 12 years old, and the man when he's 13 years old. Yes? And the good one is from the right side, and the bad one is from the left side. And these are really like two angels. They're messengers. They have a job to do. The one is to convince us to do good things, and the other, the opposite.
Moshe?
Yes, please.
Yeah, can I ask a question?
Of course.
So if the good angel doesn't come until you're 12 or 13, that would mean to me that until that age, maybe you're doing a lot more bad things than good things. And yet, children in many ways are considered pure, that they do good things, or that they just...
You're right. This is where comes the point of education. We educate the boy to behave himself, to go to school, to be a good boy, but actually the good powers are coming inside only at the age of 12 or 13. Now, if someone was growing in a family that all the time, educated and gave him good manners and to talk good things and to think good things and to do good things. So it's much easier when it comes to the age of 12 or 13, he has a much easier work to do. And but this is actually, in a way, of course, the small children are pure, like it said. And the Torah said that with their Torah, all the worlds are standing. Their Torah is higher even than the Torah of the most big tzaddik that are written in the Gemara, in the Talmud, and so on. Very important. The Torah is very, very precious. That it said that even when we're going to build soon in Yirtzeh Hashem, Beis HaMikdash, they're going to continue and learn Torah because the Torah of the children is really pure. But from the other side, it's not because of the inner powers, it's because they are educated.
I don't know if there's that much. I mean, if you get educated and you're doing good things, then I would think it's something inside of you. I mean, you're not a robot, or are you? Until age 12.
No, it's the like we said, the Yetzer Hara, the powers of it's like a matter, it's like a shell, and when you look on an orange tree, and you see the fruits of the orange, the first thing that comes out is the shell of the orange. There's no fruit inside. It's only the shell.
Uh-huh.
And it takes time and then becomes the inner part of the orange. And it's the same about us. In the beginning, our part, let's give it a it means that the really this it has a cause, of course. It's not it's because Hashem wanted us really to he gave, like, in Hebrew we say, to give him 4. He has something to he is building himself, but at the end, of course, the aim is that Yetzer Hara will win Yetzer Hara Tov will win the Yetzer Hara. Okay, but we want to really to let's say a few more words about it. And these words are written in the Tanya in Perek Chet about what we were talking now. And it gives an example of someone that eats something that is not kosher. Yes, let's say we're going to a restaurant in Los Angeles, a beautiful restaurant, and it has teuda, it has Teudat Kashrut, how you say, it's a
kosher certification. Kosher certification.
Exactly, kosher certification from 2 rabbis, not 1, 2. And the best rabbis, they're very serious. But what this person can do, you know, there was a mistake and they brought the wrong meat to this restaurant. And he ate this meat that is not kosher, yes? If someone said, listen, I behaved like I should, I did the best I could. I did the best I could. אם אני צריך לחבר את זה, 1 minute please. צריך לחבר את זה למתאים.
The power.
1 minute, I have to connect it to the electricity, 1 minute.
So, Brina?
Yes?
I just remember something about the children being, you know, their actions, if they do bad actions before they're 13, that theoretically they're not responsible, and they, you know, from their soul perspective, and then if they do actions after 13, they are responsible from their soul perspective. And I don't remember this, but potentially it could be that their actions are the responsibility of their parents. You know, that it's on the parents, and then it transfers from the parents to the children at the age of 13 or 12. I remember learning it somewhere along the lines of that was the topic. So if you do very bad things before you're 13, if they're not permanently, they're easier to clean up because you're not ascribed to them. And potentially ascribed to your parents.
Interesting. Okay.
On the other hand, if you're just wonderful, you know, then everybody does well.
We'll continue with our example. But I wanted to say that the minute that this person ate this meat that is not kosher, yeah, it said in the Tanya that this meat becomes part of his body. He digests this meat, this food that is not kosher, and it becomes part of his blood and part of his body. Yes? And now this person is a very righteous man. He runs to shul and he goes to help this old lady and to help his friends, and so on and so on and so on. He tried to use the energy that he got from this meal to do good things. But this energy cannot rise up. And why? Because it's connected down to the Sitra Achara. And the explanation is that when we say in Hebrew about a kind of food that it's forbidden to eat, we say asur. And the meaning of asur has 2 meanings. One is you should not eat it. The other translation is that is like in prison. Asur in Hebrew, it's like beta asurim, like in prison. This food, this energy that he ate without knowing that it's not kosher, but the energy is connected down to the Sitra Achra, and that's why he cannot really take this energy up unless he says, listen, Hashem, and usually that's what we're doing every day. We say Tachanun every day. Ashamti, Bagati, Gazalti, Dibati, Dofi. I don't remember now that I did all these bad things that's written in the Vidui, but actually I'm saying these words, I'm trying to connect myself up to Hashem, and by doing tshuva, that it's something that it's daily, like what we're doing now, it's a kind of tshuva, because the translation of the word tshuva is not only to try to stop doing bad things. Tshuva is to come back to someone. We're trying to take us up, to lift us up back to Hashem. Now, a point I wanted to say about it, that if sometimes you feel very bad, you feel that you're connected to bad thoughts or to bad feelings, sometimes maybe it's because you didn't know and you ate something that takes you down. It's very interesting. Now, another point, and that's what the Tanya says about these angels we were talking about, it's that the power that try to drive us to bad things, to not kosher things, it's called a demon. In the Tanya it's written, in chapter 8, a demon, but it's a demon, a Gentile demon. And we have a Jewish demon. Two kinds of powers that gives us like a desire to do something. One is to things that are forbidden, and the other thing is the thing for things that are they're kosher, they're okay. And what's the connection between the things? I mean, the point and I want to finish with about this point. I want to finish. If you have questions, I'll be happy to try to answer. But the point is that I'll give an example. For example, if someone is eating a lot of meat every day, the Tanya says, the Torah says that to eat meat, it's not so simple. I don't know if we have anyone vegetarian with our audience, but to eat meat, it's not simple. Why? Because meat, it's a very heavy thing. And if you really don't know how to eat it, so it really takes you down. And the real way that a person should eat meat and drink wine is to lift himself up for worshiping Hashem. So if he eats the meat because he wants to have pleasure in Shabbos or in Yom Tov, it's excellent. It says that this meat goes up like if you were sacrificing to Hashem this meat. Or if you eat a piece of meat because you really want to relax and to understand what you're learning, or to drink a glass of wine for just, being happier and to understand the lesson better, then it goes up, it lifts you up. But if it's not in that way, it can, chas v'sholom, it takes the person down. So when a person is using these Jewish demons too much, he drinks every day 7 bottles of wine, and he eats every day 7 steaks, yes, except of the shishlik and the kebab he's having. So when he'll come to a restaurant that it's not so kosher, yes, he'll have a problem to say himself no. And this is the connection where the Jewish demon is meeting the Gentile demon. And in the time, and that's what the work of the Tanya that teach us that we have to do etkafia. The word etkafia in Aramaic says that all the time you have to think that if I want something very, very much, I want to eat, I have 1 kilogram of ice cream in my fridge, I'm going to have today only half of it. And I'm going to leave the other half for tomorrow. And this word is called etkafia in Hebrew, in Aramaic. And the meaning is that I'm trying to stop the movement of the animal soul with her desires and to give limits. And this is something that everyone can work with himself, and it has and it's in every stage. I mean, if it's said that, you know, there's a very special Chassid. His name was Mendel Futterfass. He was working very hard in Russia, and he was sent to working, I mean, with doing, you know, to try to encourage the Jewish people there to build things, to Limud Torah and so and so. And he was catched by the Soviet and sent to Sibir. And he sat in jail with a Jewish, someone who was Jewish. And this person that they were in the same cell, yeah? In the same room. And he got, every month, he used to get from his family a package. And in the package, there was sausage from, how you say in English? Bacon, how you say?
Was it kosher sausage?
Not kosher.
Okay, so chazer.
Chazer, exactly. And yellow cheese.
Oh boy.
And every day he used to make a once a month, he used to make a sandwich with his sausage and with his cheese, to take them together. And he sat and he thought about his family far away. And this was his good time. So Mendel came to him and said, listen, my friend, you know, we're Jewish, we don't eat meat and milk together. So I said, wow, you know what? I'm going to stop eating them together. And he made a sandwich for the sausage, and a sandwich for the grina, for the
cheese,
yellow cheese. And of course, this is a big joke, but it's want to say something, that wherever you are and whatever you do, you always really can stop yourself. You can limit yourself and try to work with yourself. In another occasion, they say that once time he sat with a Jewish prisoner in Sibir, and he told them, listen, you should not eat chazir. Don't eat pig. It's forbidden. Or say, you know, and they tell him, you know what? We're going to stop eat pig. That's okay. You convinced us. And then he wanted to say, and you should not eat rabbits too, because rabbit, it's not kosher. So, she said, no, stop. You want to make from us a big rabbis? No. Don't mebalbeli the moichin. Yes, don't confuse us with too much commandments. So it's really, but the point is really that we have to do this work and to try to go as far as we can from the things that are forbidden, because by keeping good and healthy food and kosher food, it's really gives us the right energy to lift ourselves up. And I gave my friend, I gave him an example that if you really want, if you have a car that goes on a very pure fuel, and you want to give it diesel, to give it solar, how you say solar in English, Avraham?
You said diesel. I mean, diesel's like a oil-based fuel.
Oil, yes, it's oil, but it's very heavy one. It won't work. So we have to understand that we are really we have very, very high powers. Every Jew, every Jewish woman, every Jew in the world has very high powers, and we need a special fuel for our soul, and this special fuel is to have kosher food. This is our special fuel.
Ryan, thank you.
Someone has questions?
Anybody wants to unmute, please unmute and ask questions. I think it's, I understand the concept of it, just to make a statement, the benefit of having kosher. So just to be specific, even if you intend to eat kosher, you explained it, and you don't by accident, you just have less ability to use the energy from the food to do an elevation of the work you're doing. So if you're trying to do something, important, if you have this food that is not kosher, you lose the spiritual aspect to go higher.
You don't lose it, but it's harder. It's harder. But of course, you always have the option of doing tshuva, Abraham, or to wait Mashiach will come, because it's said that when Mashiach will come, there will be no, will lift us up, all the world. It will lift up all the world, and there will be the bad energies will pass from the world. So these two options we have all the time. One is to lachzor b'tshuva, is to say to Hashem, listen, I need special powers because I really don't know what I ate in the last 30, 40 years. Maybe I ate things that are not enough kosher, and I'm sorry about it, and it's okay, because it was not our idea to come down to this world. World is not our idea. So we can ask it, and from the other hand, really to know that when Mashiach will come, all these bad connection we have will disappear, and we really will lift ourselves up, and will really feel that our soul is really in much higher place, and with much more light, and we'll be able to feel it, to see it. So if we don't have, we have a few more minutes, or it's enough for today?
Anybody want to add anything?
Well, I had one question.
Please.
So back to that you have the Yetzer Hara until you're 12 or 13, then does a child before that age not have the ability to make a choice really between good and evil, but then they do once they're bar bas mitzvah? Am I understanding that?
Yeah, I mean, of course they have choice, but let's say that the choice they're making is because maybe they're afraid of their teacher, maybe they're afraid from their parents. I mean, the choice is made, like you see about. It's very interesting about Yaakov and Esau we were talking about. When they were in the womb, They were fighting one with the other. And when they used to pass, when Rivka, their mother, used to pass um, um, near a synagogue or a holy place, Yaakov wanted to go out. And when they worked, she was passing near some place that idols, Esav wanted to go out. It's very interesting. I mean, they had powers. This power is, and from the other hand, it's written that it's not the same evil powers that we were born with. There are people that, for example, they have a desire to thief. You know, when they're small, they see that something they want to take it, and it's built inside them. And you see that my wife is a teacher. Yes, you see there are children that are more soft, more have more. They're more quiet. They're more relaxed. The other one are very nervous and they're hitting everyone around them.
Right.
And it's very complicated because everyone was born, and that's what the explanation is, that we're talking about two souls. The first soul, that is called the animal soul, is something you was born with. But even an animal, we're talking about something else totally. But if we're talking about a dog or about an ox, yeah, we can, they're very wild, but we can educate them. We can teach them. So it's actually, in the first stage, it's like educating, or aleph. It's like training, you know? We're training children to be good. Wash your hands, wash your face, wash your mouth, don't speak bad, not good things. We're training him. But when he comes to the age of 13, or to the age of 12, and the Holy Soul comes to him, he finds a much easier vessel to be in. It's prepared. He doesn't have such a fight, yes, like if he was not educated.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, friends. So, Betty, maybe you have a question tonight for us. Doesn't hear us.
No, I don't have a question. Good class. Jacob.
Betty, I can't hear you. Sorry.
Can you hear me now?
Better, yes.
Okay. I don't have any questions. It was a good class. Thank you.
Welcome.
Well, I have one more question. Just
yes.
The answer. Okay. So the problem with what I want to understand is this good angel, bad angels part. So Asaph has, well, let's say Yaakov sent an angel to Asaph, correct? Is that what you're talking about? In the
yes.
Zohar? And is there anything else about the good angel, bad angel thing that we should know about? Like, how can we send all our good angels to the bad people to fix our life?
It's I don't know. If you find a way, Rabbi Avraham, I would like to learn it from you. How can you use angels? We're not using angels. We're just praying to Hashem. He's the manager. He's the king. He's in charge of all the powers in the world. Okay. And we just ask that good thing will happen with us, and he will find a way to do it.
Thank you.
But the interesting thing that Yaakov had the power to control even angels. And this is what we learned, that he fought with the angel of Esav. Yes, it was his spiritual power, and he won. And that's what the name Israel is. Israel because you fought with people and with angels, and you could win them. And this is, of course, it's a very, very special power that Yaakov has, and we just we're lucky that we are descendants of Yaakov, and we have his merits that are escorting us to every one of us to do his mission and his ichut, his
Merit. Well, let me
the thing he has to do in the world. Everyone has a special thing he has to do in the world, in his world.
let me
Please, Abba.
let me say thank you. I don't want to keep you more or anyone else more, but I wanted to say
Excellent.
But for me, I want to add that as long as I think of it from, and I have the opportunity to make this connection to Yaakov and our grandparents, Avraham, Yitzchak, we can look to them to get strength, and we have to know that just thinking that we have this power gives us the opportunity to do so.
Yes, I agree.
Okay, we have to, of course, Avraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov. This is our patriarch, and we have, every one of us has in himself, in a way, part of Avraham, part of Yitzchak, and part of Yaakov. This is Chesed, Gvura, Verachamim. It's Hashem. Let's hope that Hashem will give us Chesed, and with Gvura will take away all the bad things from us and give us Rachamim, and we will have the merit to be לגאולה האמיתית והשלמה, to the redemption by Mashiach Tzidkenu Bezrat Hashem.
Thank you.
All the
Amen.
best. And have a good week, a blessed week.
Everybody,
Thank you. Shabbat tov.
All right, thank you.
Okay, we're signing off. Same time next week if you're available. Bye-bye.